Hello and welcome to the Undead Gaming News Podcast, your one-stop shop for all things gaming. I'm your host, Zombie, and joining me is my co-host, Litchi.
Hello!
First up this week we have God of War Ragnarok, as the creative game director has confirmed a new gameplay feature that wasn't in the 2018 God of War, and that feature is, of course, different types of shields with different abilities. As Eric Williams himself says, yes, there are different shields, and they have different defensive options and abilities, and the reason why we're doing this is we really want to open up the expressive choice, the way that you build your Kratos, like the equipment and loadout and things like that. So all the way down to the defense, you can, kind of play a little differently, and then enemies know how to respond to that, or force you into these different situations where you need to use different things. So I think it'll be fun for players to explore that, but also just kind of like we want to be a bit more expressive, where you know your choices matter when you set them up. What do you make of this?
Sounds good. I mean, whether it needs to be just limited to shield, but it sounds more like you'll have a shield that's good against frost damage or flame damage, depending on whatever the hell you're fighting. I don't know if was there armor in the original that allowed you to do that?
Yes, they had frost protection and fire protection on the armor pieces you can equip, or you could go with a straight defense build or whatever.
Yeah, so they're just expanding that to shields.
Yeah,
they had that on. Did they have that on? They had that on weapons, didn't they?
You could equip certain trinkets to your weapons to increase your stats.
Yeah.
It's still a game that I'm definitely looking forward to, and I think this will make for a good improvement to the combat.
Yeah.
In other news, we have Sony introducing game trials. They sent out a wave of emails that introduces a new feature for the PlayStation 5 owners, and they've called it Game Trials, which is available now. The firm is giving PS5 owners the chance to download certain first-party titles and try them out for free for a limited time. The first two games that are available are Death Stranding's Director's Cut and Sackboy Big Adventure.
Yeah.
The fine print within the email explains that in order to activate the game trial, you'll need to head over to the PlayStation Store and select the trial option that's labelled as free. Death Stranding Director's Cut will offer 6 hours of playtime, while Sackboy Big Adventure has a 5-hour trial. However, the downside is that the timer starts as soon as you trigger the download, rather than when you actually start up the game. But your progress and save data and trophies will all carry over into the full game if you choose to buy the game afterwards. Death Stranding Director's Cut and Sackboy Big Adventure are available until midnight on the 28th of October 2021 for the game trials. What do you make of all this?
I mean, it just sounds so they're adding demos to PS5, except for, obviously, the trials are now starting when you start your download, so you've got to have good internet and play it, right away, which is just ridiculous.
Yep.
But, I'm not so much on the PS4. I don't know if there's any trials on the PS4. But back on the PS3, there was timed trials. But they were when you open the game, it's you have 2 hours to play this game. And then obviously when those 2 hours are finished, it's now your trial's finished. But you could relaunch that game and play for another 2 hours. Actually, I think they did that kind of thing with, I don't know if it was Maiden for when Resident Evil 8 was coming out. They did a trial thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so they're adding trials to PS5, which obviously have been on PlayStation since probably the PlayStation 1 had trials. Well, it had demos. I don't know if it had timed trials.
Yeah, you just have demos on the PS1.
Yeah.
Which was a limited section of the game that you could try. But the game trials itself is not necessarily a problem for me because, I think that's a good way to actually be able to experience a game and find out if you actually want to buy it. However, I don't think the timer should start as soon as you press download. It should start as soon as you start up the game and actually get to playing it.
Yeah, exactly. What if I have potato internet and it's it's a 3-hour trial and it's going to take about 4 hours to download. So by the time it's downloaded, I can't even play it. Who thought this was a good idea?
Hopefully they change their mind about that and actually let the timer start when you actually play the game rather than when you start the download. But Sony are also planning to make the PS3 and Vita stores practically unusable. Starting on the 27th of October 2021, you can no longer use a credit card, debit card, or payment methods such as PayPal to buy digital content or add funds to your wallet when visiting the PlayStation Store on your PS3 or PS Vita system. So to buy digital content on those systems, you must first add sufficient funds to your wallet on the PlayStation Store, and you can do that by redeeming a PlayStation Store gift card or using a credit card, debit card, or PayPal on a desktop or mobile or PS4 or PS5 rather than your PS3 or Vita. What do you think about this?
Like, why?
Well, originally they wanted to completely shut down those stores, didn't they? But then they changed their minds on that. I don't know why they've decided to limit the amount of ways you can buy stuff. Maybe it's just their way of slowly getting rid of those stores.
Yeah.
But personally don't agree with this decision.
Yeah, I don't know. They just don't like your money. If you can't afford to get a PS4 or a PS5, we don't want your money. We want you to mess about if you want to give us your money.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. PlayStation have also released a patent that could allow you to divert your connection to prioritize download speeds or multiplayer gaming. They filed it with the United States Trademark Office recently, and the patent is focused on bandwidth management, so you can manually relocate your internet bandwidth on each device and application on the network. What do you make of that?
I guess it's useful if you're downloading something and then you want to play something with your friends, because normally you would, obviously the download itself is going to slow down while you play with your friends, but I can't think of a reason why you'd be like, I'd like to prioritize downloading over the multiplayer. If I'm playing with my friends, obviously I want the best connection obviously with my friends, and if I'm downloading something, I'm obviously not like sitting there going, I need to wait for this to download so I can play it right away, because obviously I'm currently playing something. But yeah, I guess it's if you've got bad internet so that you can only do one or the other, rather than having to stop your download, you could choose to speed up your download at the cost of the speed of your game.
Or you could prioritize the game. Sony has also officially acquired Bluepoint Games, an acquisition that we all knew had already happened behind closed doors, since we reported a couple of months ago, I think, that the Japanese Twitter account for PlayStation leaked the image for the acquisition.
It was in our very first episode.
It was, and now it's been officially announced that they've been acquired. However, they didn't announce the acquisition with a picture. Instead, they had their own minute-long video on the PlayStation channel, where Herman Hulst, which is the head of the PlayStation Studios, said, "I'm very excited to announce that PlayStation Studios has grown again with the addition of longtime partner Bluepoint Games, from the exceptional PS5 remake of Demon's Souls to the critically acclaimed PS4 remake of Shadow of the Colossus, and remasters of fan favourites like Uncharted: The Nathan Drake Collection. Bluepoint has built a name for itself by creating some of the highest quality remasters and remakes in the industry." And then in an interview, Bluepoint confirmed it's working on an original game within the acquisition, so they're not going to be doing a new remake or remaster. At the moment, they've got their own focus title, their own original idea, and the president of Bluepoint Games has said that becoming a part of PlayStation Studios empowers the team to raise the quality bar even further and create more impactful experiences for the PlayStation community. What do you think about all this?
I don't know, like we said already, we already knew that they had acquired, they just hadn't made it official yet.
Yeah, so what do you make of Bluepoint actually making their own IP rather than a remake or remaster?
See what obviously they can come up with. Because obviously, like, as far as graphically, like, gameplay-wise, the remakes function well, but obviously they haven't developed their own, like, stories, so that will be obviously what they're doing now, is see how they develop their own, tell their own story.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see exactly what they bring to the table in terms of their own storylines and how they tell that. As someone that's played the Demon's Souls remake, obviously I know a bit of how their work is, and visually obviously that game is very good and it's quite smooth, I can't really fault it personally, but I also didn't play the original, so I don't know how true it is to the original. I do know that there was some slight design deviations in certain levels which people complained about, but I can't speak on that personally. But PlayStation Studios have also acquired Manchester-based Fabrik Games, and they will be added to the Firesprite Games team, which Sony acquired last month. And Firesprite Games boss Graham Ankers said, "I'm delighted to announce that we will be bringing Fabrik Games and Firesprite together as part of our exciting next step with PlayStation Studios. They are a team of passionate and committed developers led by industry veterans who have worked for many AAA franchises. We're looking forward to bolstering our creative talent as we continue on our journey to offer truly unique experiences for PlayStation fans." What do you think about this?
Like, why have they shoved Fabrik Games into another team? And obviously it's being merged, why have they not obviously changed the name to, like, Fabrik Sprite or something?
If I remember correctly, I think Fabrik Sprite was actually originally formed by Firesprite developers.
Okay, so they left Firesprite to make their own company, and now they're being forced to work with their old colleagues again.
Well, they was offered a lot of money by Sony to work there, so yes, they took that offer. I don't think the team's very big.
Yeah.
But Firesprite still seems to be quite enthusiastic about the whole thing, so the boss of PlayStation decides that he wants to have Sony games spread to a wider audience. As he said, "I'd like to see a world where the games that we make at PlayStation can be enjoyed by many, many tens of millions, perhaps hundreds of millions of people. Right now, with the existing console model, a really great PlayStation hit, you're talking 10 or 20 million people are able to play that game. And if you compare that to music, art or movies, they can be enjoyed by limitless audiences. I think some of the art our studios are making is some of the finest entertainment in the world, and to gate that audience frustrates me. I'd love to see a world where hundreds of millions of people can enjoy those games." And of course, that was Jim Ryan who said that. What do you think about this?
Oh yeah, it's a nice notion to be able to say, we want everyone to be able to play our games. But obviously, how do you intend to do that?
Well, we've already seen that obviously Sony are branching out into the PC world with one of their acquisitions, and obviously they'll have a team that's now going to be making PC ports of the PlayStation first-party titles so that PC players can experience them rather than them just being PlayStation exclusives, which, of course, Xbox have always had Xbox exclusives which are also available on PC, so now it seems that Sony will be doing the same, from what I can see. And maybe that's how he intends to get a wider audience for his games.
Obviously, that won't be as simple as Microsoft's, because obviously Microsoft own obviously both the Xbox and the Windows operating system. PlayStation don't have their own operating system on PC currently.
No, it will be more difficult for them, but I think that's the route he's trying to go with. But also in the news we have the Touryst, which has become the first ever 8K 60 frame per second game to hit the PS5. It was first released on the Switch in 2019 and the Xbox in 2020, and has finally made its way over to the PS4 and the PS5, but the PS5 port of the game carries a special distinction as it's the first 8K 60 FPS console game ever officially released. What do you think about that?
No, I mean, looking at it, saying obviously it's 8K 60 frames isn't saying much, because the polygon count is clearly really low. It just means obviously they have high resolution textures and stuff, and obviously it runs smoothly because there's not a lot of polygons to obviously load. But I think it's a bit weird why the PS5 is the only one that gets obviously the 8K version. Is that then going to be transported over to the Xbox as well? The Switch maybe not, because it's not as powerful, so maybe it won't be able to handle 8K, because it can't even do 4K at the moment.
But can the Xbox do 8K, or is it just 4K?
As far as I'm aware, hardware-wise, both the PS5 and the Xbox Series X are not too different.
Well, at the moment, the PS5 can't do 8K itself. Not natively, anyway.
Yeah.
But they are going to be releasing an update for it at some point to bring native 8K. Unless they'll save that for the PS5 Pro.
Yeah, probably.
But also in the news, we have Hex Gaming, which have decided to create a new Elite-style controller. They announced the Hex Rival as the ultimate esports controller. This marks the first Elite-style controller that we've seen that's designed specifically for the PS5, though it's come at a hefty price of $290. The Hex Rival features 2 back buttons that can be mapped to 15 different commands, both face buttons and directional inputs, and interchangeable thumbsticks with different height and grip designs. The Hex Rival is now available on both Amazon and the official Hex Gaming website, and it comes in multiple colours and designs. What do you think about this?
It's quite expensive for a controller.
It is, yes, but it's an Elite controller. It's not your normal controller, because you can have one button do 15 different things.
Which would obviously be beneficial if I was playing on PC, but because obviously, like, PlayStation 5 games are designed to obviously work on the limited amount of buttons.
Yeah, but I think it could work well with, like, MMOs or something.
Yeah.
Also in the news, we have a Blockbuster Games promotion that's come to the PlayStation Store, so if you're looking for discounts on any titles, then be sure to check this out. The promotion ends on the 13th, region depending. You can enjoy discounts on a variety of big franchises, such as the Assassin's Creed titles, Call of Duty, Dishonored, The Sims 4, just to name a few. What do you think about that?
I mean, I've literally looked at that list of games probably like 5 times in the last week, and I never end up actually buying anything. It's just because, like, the games on there that I want, I have. Like, obviously, I've got like all the Assassin's Creeds. I've got Batman. I've got Battlefield 5. There's the Bloodborne like Game of the Year edition, but I have the normal Bloodborne and I've not even played that. And obviously, it doesn't make much sense to buy the Game of the Year edition if the only thing that obviously I'm missing from that is obviously the DLC.
If you're looking to play something new, then there's some new games coming to the PlayStation Now. You have the Amnesia Collection, Desperados 3, Fallout 76, Final Fantasy VIII Remastered, Last of Us Part 2, Victor Vran Overkill Edition, and yet another Zombie Defense HD. If you're looking to pick up a new game from the PlayStation Store this week, on the 27th of September we had Dadish on the PS4 in the US only. We also had Dadish 2 on the PS4, also US only. And then for both US and UK we had FIFA 22 Ultimate Edition. Then on the 28th of September we had Away the Survival Series on the PS5 and PS4, Chernobylite on the PS4, G Darius HD on the PS4, Agatha Christie Parrot First Cases on the PS4, that's UK only, Ghost Runner on the PS5, In Sound Mind on the PS4 and PS5, Lemnis Gate on the PS4 and PS5, Unmetal on the PS4, and then on the 29th we had A Juggler's Tale on the PS4 and PS5, Centipede Recharged on the PS4, Faerun Collection on the PS4, on the 30th we had Astraea Ascending on the PS4 and PS5, eFootball on the PS4 and PS5, Hot Wheels Unleashed on the PS4 and PS5, Real Farm Premium Edition on the PS5, Wan Yon Sword 7 on the PS4, and then on the 1st of October we had FIFA 22 on the PS4 and PS5. On the 4th of October we had Hampuz on the PS4, Probe, a game dev experience on the PSVR, and then on the 5th of October we had Alan Wake Remastered on the PS4 and PS5, BPM Bullets Per Minute on the PS4, that's in the US only, Hell Let Loose on the PS5, Jet to the Far Shore on the PS5, Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl on the PS4 and PS5, Puzzle Bobble 3D Vacation Odyssey on the PS4 and PS5, Rainbow Billy The Curse of the Leviathan on the PS4, Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania on the PS4 and PS5, and then on the 6th we had Art of Rally PS4 on the PS5, Night Squad 2 on the PS4, Tangle Tower on the PS4, and then on the 7th we had Blazing Beaks on the PS4, Children of Mortar Complete Edition on the PS4, Far Cry 6 on the PS4 and PS5, Milk Choco on the PS4, Super Arcade Soccer 2021 on the PS4. Do any of those games take your interest?
I mean, personally, obviously, the Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl, like, I'm sure, did we look at that before? Or was it their version of Mario Kart we looked at before?
We looked at the All-Star Brawl before, when they released a trailer for it.
Yeah, like I said, it's that I personally would say it's more appealing to me than of it playing Smash Bros. Because I actually would know the characters.
Yeah.
I say that, but obviously I've not watched Nickelodeon for like a long time.
Yeah, but there's a lot of old characters in there.
Yeah. Then there's Alan Wake's supposed to be good, but I don't think I might play the remastered at some point, but I got like stupid amounts of games to get through.
Well, it's like I've got a backlog of games as well, and there's all new stuff coming out as well. So I'm trying to find a balance of getting through the backlog whilst also trying to play the new stuff and not adding to the backlog. But Alan Wake Remastered is something I'll be playing at some point because, obviously, as I mentioned before on a previous episode, it's something I've heard a lot of good stuff about, and I want to actually try it because it's the first time it's actually been on PlayStation, so I can actually give it a shot.
Is it the first time it's been on PlayStation?
Yes, it was originally released on the Xbox as an exclusive on the Xbox 360. And now it's come to the PS5, so it's first time ever on PlayStation.
Okay.
We also have the PlayStation Plus games for the month for October. We have the 50 vs 50 World War II shooter Hell Let Loose on the PS5, and then for the PS4 you have Mortal Kombat X and PGA Tour 2K21, and those are available to add to your library and download for the entirety of October for free. If you have PlayStation Plus, what do you make of the lineup this month?
I don't know, they could have given me the new Mortal Kombat. X is like 5 years old now.
Yeah, but that would mean preventing sales for the new one.
Yeah.
Because why buy it when you can get it for free?
Why buy anything when you can get it for free?
Do you not like the lineup this month then, or?
I can't play Hell Let Loose. And you said the other one was... Did you say PGA Tour?
PGA Tour 2K21, yeah.
Yeah.
As well as Mortal Kombat X on PS4.
Oh, the thing is, I probably won't play either of those games. But I have to have them in my library if I ever decide I want to play them. Because I don't... The only time I've played like a golf game was like on like Wii Golf. Yeah. But that's more so to socialise with other people. I didn't play it by myself.
But if you're looking to pick up a game for free, then you can head over to the Epic Games Store and collect PC Building Simulator, which will be free now until the 14th of October. What do you think about that one?
I don't know. Maybe I'll give it a try. Maybe see how accurate it is. Maybe I'll rebuild my desktop on it.
From what I understand, I think it's quite accurate in terms of the whole process. You even have to screw in all the little screws and everything for all the parts.
I don't know if building a PC is that fun. It's very because it can be finicky at parts, so you don't damage the extremely fragile parts.
Yeah, but I suppose this simulator can help newbies come to understanding where parts go and learn about different parts.
Yeah.
Before they actually decide to build one for real.
Yeah.
Also in the news, we have the Epic Games Store, as they are finally getting achievements. Epic Achievements will award varying amounts of XP. The amount will depend on what tier the achievement is in, whether it's bronze, silver or gold. The bronze achievements will give you 5 to 45 XP. The silver will be 50 to 95, and gold will be 100 to 200. There's also a platinum that's worth 250 XP, and the platinum itself, once received, is a 1000 XP bonus, and it's a 1 per game trophy or achievement, such as the platinum trophies on PlayStation. Epic has also mentioned their plans for new social features and player rewards for the achievement system. What do you make of all this?
I don't know. To be fair, does any system have so that you can earn the achievement multiple times? To say obviously it's like PlayStation's trophies, but is there any you can only earn Steam achievements once. You can only earn Xbox achievements once.
But it means that you'll only have 1 platinum trophy per game, like you do on PlayStation, whereas obviously you have multiple bronzes, you have multiple silvers, you have multiple golds. There's only ever going to be 1 platinum, and the platinum is obviously the highest earning XP trophy.
Yeah.
That's all that means. But also in the news, we have the Xbox Games with Gold October lineup. We have from the 1st to the 31st of October, we have Aero. From the 16th of October to the 15th of November, we have Hover. From the 1st to the 15th of October, we have Castlevania Harmony of Despair. And then from the 16th to the 31st of October, we have Resident Evil Code Veronica X. What do you think about that lineup?
I mean, I've not heard of Aero or Hover. I think Castlevania is a classic. Is it a classic? Well, Castlevania series is. I don't know if Harmony of Despair is a classic. And obviously, Code Veronica is something that fans keep going, oh, remastered this, remastered Code Veronica. So there you go. You can play the original one.
Yeah, well, the Xbox Series S and X are apparently also getting the Dolby Vision Gaming, a new HDR format promising more colour, contrast and highlights for video games. Microsoft announced Dolby Vision is also compatible with 120Hz displays. What do you make of that?
Xbox games get to look a little bit brighter.
Yeah, and the Series X is also getting the Xbox Cloud Gaming, as the company said recently that they completed the upgrade, allowing for higher frame rates and lower loading times. However, it's yet to fully utilise the hardware to produce 4K streaming, so people have to settle with 1080p and 60 frames streams for now. What do you think about that?
I don't know. I don't tend to stream my games. I tend to have them on the system. Just get a bigger hard drive.
Also in the news, we have the Xbox head explaining that console shortages are going to continue until the end of 2022. Phil Spencer said that chip shortages were partly to blame for the ongoing console shortages. There was more going on with the situation. As he said, I think it's probably too isolated to talk about it as just a chip problem. When I think about what does it mean to get the parts necessary to build a console today, and then get it to the markets where the demand is. There are multiple kinds of pinch points in that process, and I think regretfully it's going to be with us for months and months, definitely through the end of this calendar year and into the next calendar year. The thing that's most disappointing is just the fan disappointment, really. People really want the new generation of consoles. They're good consoles, both from us and other platform holders, and they want new functionality. Also in the news, we have the voice actor for Colt Vaughn, who is obviously the main character in Deathloop. Jason Kelly, who lends his voice to Colt, apparently doesn't have a PS5, and he's going to be receiving a free PS5 pretty soon, as he took to Twitter shortly before the launch of Deathloop to celebrate the release and express how excited he was for fans to play the game. He also mentioned that if anyone wants to give him a copy and a PS5, We would really appreciate it. And then underneath that Twitter post, Bethesda's Pete Hines replied, "Hey, I can probably find you a PS5 so you can play it. You deserve a chance to play it as Colt and enjoy your own amazing performance." And it appears that that statement turned out to be true because, according to a new interview, Jason said, "I haven't played the game yet. I don't have a PS5 yet. I'm breaking an exclusive with you. I made an announcement. I was doing a bit and said that I didn't have one. And it turns out I was just notified by Bethesda that a PS5 was made available and is going to be shipped to me with the game as well. So I'll be playing the game. I'm super excited." What do you think about this?
I mean, yes, he should obviously have the ability to obviously play the game that he's actually in, but he would be perfectly capable of getting his own PS5 if he wanted one.
They're not on the market, so no, he can't.
Well, how's Bethesda got one?
Because they have them.
Yeah, they have them so that they can just give them away to, obviously, people they've worked with.
Well, typically they have them so that they can test games on them.
Yeah, but then now they can't test games on that console because he's getting it.
Well, it's only one less console. They'll be able to replace it eventually. It's fine.
I mean, to be fair, him coming out and saying, obviously, if somebody wants to get him it, obviously, yes, he says obviously he was doing a bit.
Yeah.
But then the fact that obviously Bethesda actually took him seriously, obviously they didn't understand he was doing a bit and didn't actually expect someone to do it. But obviously, if it wasn't a bit, then he comes across as kind of entitled. And then if he was doing a bit, Bethesda shouldn't be giving him the console because he wasn't serious.
Well, it's just a bit of goodwill on Bethesda's part, I think, regardless of it being a bit or not.
I mean, better will would be to give their fans PlayStations and the game.
That would be an expensive venture. I don't think they'll do that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's one thing to obviously give him a copy of the game because obviously he's in the game. It's normal to just go, "Oh, you're in the game. Here's a free copy of the game."
Yeah, they obviously wanted to extend the goodwill to giving him the console as well because he doesn't have one.
Yeah. Bethesda definitely going above and beyond for their voice actor.
Wow, he did a good job, so it's fine by me. Also, with the news, we have Microsoft announcing extensive new accessibility features for the Xbox. In their recent showcase, Microsoft announced that it's adding a series of new accessibility features to the Xbox range in the coming months. The Microsoft Store for Xbox will receive a new accessibility panel for each game listing, and it's designed to make it easier for players to find games that include certain accessibility features. 20 accessibility tags will be supported, including ones for narrated game menus, input remapping, as well as single-stick gameplay options. Developers will need to follow a specific set of rules to be able to use the tags so that information remains accurate. In conjunction, there will also be new accessibility spotlight page on the Microsoft Store app for Xbox, and this will highlight games that offer numerous accessibility feature tags and have been recognized by the gaming and disability community. Other changes include quick settings, which will make it easier to toggle accessibility features without leaving the game or app. There will also be improved colour filters for Xbox Series X and S users, which will benefit those with colour blindness or colour vision deficiency. What do you think about that?
No, it's good. It's good that they're putting in more features for people with, obviously, conditions.
Well, speaking of the accessibility features, there's also a new database that's been created to help gamers with disabilities find particular games that have certain features. The Accessibility Games database lets players easily search by specific accessibility options to receive recommendations for games with their desired features. It launched on October the 1st, and the website is accessiblegamesdatabase.com. The database currently includes 144 games with accessibility options, including The Last of Us Part 2, Control, Cyberpunk 2077, and Tetris 99. Alongside being able to search for games by publisher, genre, and platform, users can filter the database for auditory, visual, and fine motor features. Each of these filters have subcategories with which users can specify needs like volume control, adjustable interfaces, colorblind filters, and controller customization. What do you make of this?
I mean, it's good that obviously if you need extra accessibility, you can obviously find games that support that. But to be fair, when was the last time you played a game that doesn't have those features on? I think it's kind of standard now.
Yeah, but the accessibility features tend to be a kind of second thought when it comes to games because they're always quite limited, which was why The Last of Us 2 was so critically acclaimed when it came to that side of things, because they had a lot of features and a lot of options for accessibility. It wasn't just your standard different size text, colorblind mode, and that kind of stuff. It was very in-depth.
How in-depth do you need to get, though?
Well, there's a lot of different types of disabilities and disadvantages that people have, so you want to accommodate as many people as possible, don't you? And it's good that the people that are disadvantaged are able to get more recognition these days, and they're actually getting features that will help them be able to experience the games.
Yep.
Also in the news, we have Bandai Namco, who've decided to change their logo. In 2005, Bandai and Namco merged, and then the following year, Bandai Namco was born. And to mark their new conglomerate, the company got a yellow, red and orange logo with the company's name in white font. And it's not a bad look, it stands out among Japanese game companies, but next year Bandai Namco is getting a redesigned logo, and so far the public reception has not been good. According to Bandai Namco, there is a reason for the redesign, namely that the logo reflects the company's new purpose. As the president of Bandai, Masaru Kawaguchi, said, "Fundamental to our purpose is the idea of connecting and working together to create things. Namco's entertainment connects fans all over the world by delivering fans to the people everywhere. We put smiles on their faces and help them achieve happiness. That's why Bandai Namco exists." What do you make of this?
What does delivering fun to people everywhere and putting smiles on their face, what does that have to do with making the logo really, really bland, like a newspaper?
I don't know.
That doesn't scream fun to me.
Yes, personally, I prefer the original logo because, as I said, it stands out among other companies, and the new one is very bland and boring and pointless. It's like it's something you'd make as a child in a graphic design lesson. I don't understand why they've decided to change it.
Not a clue.
But also in the news, we have the Kingdom Hearts trilogy coming to the Switch via cloud streaming. 3 games from the popular crossover franchise will be available. That's Kingdom Hearts HD 1.5 and 2.5 Remix, Kingdom Hearts HD 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue, and Kingdom Hearts 3, plus the game's Remind DLC. No release date was confirmed, however. What do you think about that?
That's good. I mean, it's taken long enough, but obviously, I'm guessing this is a tie-in to the fact that obviously Sora is going to be coming to Smash, so they're like, oh, you can also just put the games on your system too, or is I don't know, maybe that's the deal. Just, well, you can have Sora, but we get to sell our game on your system. I don't know.
Is it a franchise you're interested in?
I mean, not especially. I'm not. I think if I was still a kid and I played my Switch, then yes. But obviously, it's like a children's version of Final Fantasy because it's crossed with like a traditional Disney.
Yeah.
So, well, yes, obviously, it'll have characters and stuff that I know from my youth. Playing it now, I'm just going to feel kind of childish.
Yeah. Well, I played the demo for Kingdom Hearts 3, and it felt kind of boring to me because it was just a child's game, and the only small amount of actual entertainment I got out of it was when I was playing the Toy Story section, because Toy Story is something I grew up on, so...
Yeah.
But also in the news, we have eFootball, which has already been the worst rated game in Steam's history. According to the Steam 250, which assigns Steam games a score determined by whether players give them a positive or negative review, combined with how many players actually reviewed them. eFootball has a score of 8%, and that makes it lower than the previously worst rated game, which was 2011's racing title Flat Out 3, which had a score of 15%. And one reviewer for eFootball said, "It's the worst football game I've ever played. It's simply a mobile game. The ball weighs 100 kilograms. The contact between players are chaotic, and nothing feels right. It's a shame." And then we had a response from Konami as they've apologised for the terrible quality of the game and said that fixes are on the way. Konami Digital Entertainment released a statement apologising for the state of the game and said the team is prepping an update to release later this month. The game's official Twitter account shared the statement, which acknowledged the team has received a lot of feedback about the game's rather busted state, and Konami said it acknowledges that there have been reports of problems users have experienced with cutscenes, facial expressions, movement of players, and the behaviour of the ball. What do you make of this?
I don't know, I mean, it's a free game. Do you expect like really high quality from a free-to-play game?
Well, yeah, but when I first saw the title, the headlines popping up, I thought, I don't know why people are complaining. It's a free game. They're not going to put as much money into it because it's free. And their money plan is obviously later down the line with certain content that they wanted to release. So they're not going to have as much work and as much budget in as they did with Pro Evolution Soccer when they made that. And then I started looking at the actual issues of the game, and it reminded me of when Assassin's Creed Unity came out, and you had cutscenes with no faces or no people in them, and it was just moving clothes, because it was the same thing in eFootball.
Yeah.
I mean, major bugs like that shouldn't be in a final release of any kind of game, whether the game's free or not.
Yeah, but then where am I going to get my entertainment value from?
Playing the game.
Yeah, but, I mean, to be perfectly fair, FIFA is not cheap for a new release, and that's always a buggy mess. It's the same thing every year.
Yeah, but it's nowhere near as bad as the eFootball was.
Yeah, but I also don't have to pay for eFootball, so I can just play it, have a laugh, and I've not lost any money on it.
Yeah, but some of the bugs makes the game unplayable. That's the point.
Yeah.
So hopefully they actually tidy that up soon. Also in the news, we have The Lord of the Rings Online is having a huge content giveaway. Up until November the 30th, you'll be able to claim access to all of the game's currently available quest packs absolutely free. You'll need to download the game and access its built-in store and use the coupon code LOTRQuests2021, which will then unlock all of the content. And of course the game is free itself, naturally anyway. So even if you've never played the game, you can claim it all for free while you can, and then maybe play it sometime down the line if you want to. What do you make of this?
I mean, I don't know why they weren't free anyways. Have you ever played it?
I have not.
I have. It feels very dated playing it. It feels like obviously you're playing from an MMO from the early 2000s, and obviously there's only so much you can do. If your game was made in that game engine, where it's like an early 2000s game, there is only so much content obviously you can really bring out for it before you have to move on. But obviously saying that, your current giant, WoW, has been going for coming up on 2 decades, and obviously that's an early 2000s MMO. So if they've updated it like WoW did in 2014, if they've updated it so it looks fresh and they're doing it's more cinematic and stuff, then yes. But it's just basically Lord of the Rings Online felt very similar to playing EverQuest, but in Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
It's not a right game to play. And now you get a bunch of free content, which I don't think was probably that expensive in the first place.
Probably not, but it's an incentive for new players to come to the game and play the game. It's also an incentive for people who've never bought the packs to get the packs and try them out. But also in the news, we have a major cyber attack that's claimed some online gaming accounts. Cybercriminals are increasingly targeting gamers as well as their accounts online with a new malware dubbed Bloody Stealer. According to Kaspersky, despite the fact that Bloody Stealer is relatively new, the malware has already been used to target and infect users in Europe, Latin America, and the Asia-Pacific region. What has allowed the malware to spread so easily online is that its creators used a malware-as-a-service distribution model where Bloody Stealer can be purchased on the dark web for $10 a month or $40 for a lifetime license. And while Bloody Stealer poses a threat to gamers, it's still just one of the many tools on the dark web that's being used to steal their accounts. Cybercriminals sell other types of malware, and underground hacking forums often feature ads offering to post a malicious link on a popular website or selling tools to generate phishing pages automatically to avoid falling victim to Bloody Stealer, other types of malware and cyber attacks. Targeting gamers, Kaspersky recommends that users enable two-factor authentication for their online accounts and only download apps and software from official stores, and be wary of any links in emails and messages from unknown senders. Check websites for authenticity before entering your credentials, and protect your devices with antivirus software, which obviously all of which is pretty standard stuff. What do you make of this new malware?
I don't know what differentiates it really from other malware, other than it's been given the name Bloody Stealer. It does the same as every other malware, does it not?
Yes, but it's new, so it will probably try to bypass certain defences that certain malware protection has.
Yeah.
Also in the news, we have China cracking down on different types of presentation in video games, as they've decided games must have what they have deemed correct values in order to be approved by the Chinese government, as well as an accurate understanding of Chinese history and culture. Games that include same-sex relationships or effeminate males, as well as games in which a character's gender is not immediately apparent, and games that will allow players to make moral choices between good and evil paths are also on the chopping block. So, what do you make of this?
What games can they play?
Something that probably glorifies China. Maybe a puzzle game? At the end of the day, we know that China doesn't like video games, as a standard. But yes, China continues to control the entertainment of its people, so that their backwards values are upkept in their country. But also in the news, we have Hideki Kamiya, who says, if you want Bayonetta 3 on the PlayStation or Xbox 2, go tell Nintendo. The first Bayonetta was multi-platform, but the game's sequel was a Nintendo exclusive, as is the upcoming Bayonetta 3. And Hideki tweeted, we are developing Bayonetta 3 as we did Bayonetta 2 with money received from Nintendo. Since we are only developing, Nintendo has total say in regards to the product. It seems the probability of Bayonetta 2 and 3 getting ported to the PS4 and Xbox isn't zero, but to be honest, probability of most things isn't necessarily zero. Just because it's possible, however, doesn't mean it will happen. So please keep working hard at sending your passionate requests to Nintendo. What do you make of this?
Well, obviously, he's inciting people to give Nintendo shit for not giving them Bayonetta on other platforms.
No, he's saying that if you want it on a different platform, then request it from Nintendo. He's not saying be a bully to Nintendo.
You know how people are going to take that.
I know, but that's not what he's saying.
Obviously, yes, Bayonetta would be beneficial to obviously come to other platforms because more money, and obviously more people get to play it, more people buy it, more money for Nintendo.
Yeah, but we also have a critically acclaimed Wii game announced for the Switch, as in 2009, developer WayForward Technologies released A Boy and His Blob on the Nintendo Wii. A Boy and His Blob resurrected a long-dormant franchise that first appeared on the Nintendo Entertainment System, and the 2D platformer received strong feedback from fans and critics upon its release. 11 years later, the publisher Ziggurat Interactive will give new audiences a chance to discover the game when A Boy and His Blob releases on Nintendo Switch. What do you make of this?
Yes, that definitely sounds like a Nintendo title.
Yeah, Boy and His Blob.
And it's a 2D platformer, which, well, obviously, yes, with Mario, platformers are things that Nintendo fans like. It is not my cup of tea.
Also in the news, the Genshin Impact developer MiHoYo have responded to fans review bombing the game following an anniversary that they did for the game, because the rewards that they gave out were absolutely terrible. It was basically just slot machines, from what I could see. But they said, we've been paying close attention to various feedback regarding Genshin Impact's first anniversary. We've already come up with more celebrations, including the upcoming Genshin Impact online concert, and thank you gifts to express our gratitude for players' support along the way. The opinions and feedback from players and fans are really valuable to us, and we wish all fans will continue the adventure and collect more cherished memories in Teyvat. What do you think about all this?
No, I don't have an issue with the anniversary gifts. But then I haven't played it in like a year, so...
Well, I've never played it personally.
Oh yeah, about a year ago it was this big thing on Twitch and then it just disappeared. I played it a bit. I've got it on PlayStation as well, but I can't, there's no cross progression. It's I'm not starting again on PlayStation. You can screw off.
Yeah.
But yes, I don't know what the original anniversary thing was, but apparently they then, after the backlash, gave out 400 Primo gems and a new glider, which, okay, I'm getting free shit for not doing anything. I'm not going to complain. And that slot machine, well, for one, I'd call it a slot machine.
Well, it was like loot box type thing.
Yeah.
Also in the news, we have Rockstar reversing an update to GTA Online, as they removed parachuting jobs and sea races out of GTA Online with no warning. And it's not completely clear why they were removed, but they were, and now they're back, but not permanently, as they was only brought back so that players could have the opportunity to earn the Numero Uno trophy, as when it was removed, Rockstar were met with the backlash from players complaining that it now makes that particular trophy literally impossible. So they've decided to bring it back for players to actually complete that trophy, and then they're taking it away again. What do you think about that?
What about people who don't know about that, and therefore they come on after they've taken it away again, like, oh, well, I can't get all my trophies now.
Well, you had your time.
But I didn't know.
Tough, you had your time. That's their stance. You had your time.
Or, what they could do is change the trophy conditions.
Or just not take the jobs out, I don't know why they're taking them away in the first place.
I would guess because no one plays them.
Yes, but if a trophy's tied to them, you have to keep them there.
Not if I change the trophy conditions.
Also in the news, we have Foxhole, and after 4 years of early access development, the MMO shooter Foxhole has added foxholes. The latest update, Entrenched, overhauled mechanics surrounding digging in and building bunkers. In Foxhole, already quite extensive, players can now make new shapes of defences and searchlights to bunkers, large radar facilities, and much more customisable lines of sandbags, barbed wire, and tank traps. Foxhole is an isometric shooter where players both fuel and fight their own war. Every entrenched position has to be built, every rifle has to be manufactured, every uniform has to be delivered to the line, and everybody in a bayonet charge has to be controlled by a human player. What do you make of this update?
It's kind of amusing that obviously the game called Foxhole didn't actually have foxholes in it.
Yeah.
So I guess, it makes sense to obviously add them.
But also in the news, we have Kate from Netflix. The movie Kate is apparently going to be made into a game. Kate is a Netflix original about an assassin with 24 hours to live. The story follows Kate as she tries to find a cure for a poison that she's been inflicted with while she's working to evade the Tokyo criminal underground along the way. The isometric pixel art roguelike is a work of Ludic Studios. They've also been responsible for the well-received Arcane and the forthcoming Windrunners. Kate Collateral Damage is described as a time attack action roguelike, and the trailer definitely promises a fast-paced, twitch-oriented shooter, though you can wield knives and katanas as well. What do you think about this?
I don't know, I'm guessing maybe Kate was popular, but I've never heard of it.
I've never heard of it either, until this game was announced.
I don't know, it sounds very Ghost in the Shell, but obviously in that I don't think you have like 24 hours to live, but yeah, I don't know, might be alright.
Well, Netflix have also launched 3 more mobile games for the subscribers in Poland, and they've also outsourced to Italy and Spain now as well. And they're adding 3 additional Netflix exclusive mobile games to the library, as these will be available to subscribers with Android devices. The 3 newly added mobile games are Shooting Hoops, Teeter Up, and Card Blast. Subscribers in Poland, Spain and Italy will be able to access the new titles, which are all free of ads and in-app purchases as part of their existing subscriptions, and they can be found under the Games tab in Netflix's mobile app for Android, but they are downloaded via the Google Play Store, and subscribers will be asked to sign in with their Netflix details in order to begin playing. But Netflix have also acquired their first video game developer, which is Night School Studio. They're known, of course, for their debut game of Oxenfree, and also the upcoming release of Oxenfree 2 Lost Signals. Netflix's Vice President of Game Development, Mike Verdu, said, "We'll continue working with developers around the world and hiring the best talent in the industry to deliver a great collection of exclusive games, designed for every kind of gamer and any level of play. Like our shows and films, these games will be included as part of your Netflix membership, or with no ads and no in-app purchases. Stay tuned for more." Night School's founder, Sean Krankle, said, "Netflix gives film, TV, and now game makers unprecedented canvas to create and deliver excellent entertainment to millions of people. Our explorations in narrative gameplay and Netflix's track record of supporting diverse storytellers was a natural pairing. It felt like both teams came to this conclusion instinctively. It's a surreal honour to be the first game studio to join Netflix. The Netflix team has shown the utmost care for protecting our studio, culture, and creative vision." What do you think about this?
I think, as obviously they were like an indie developer before, being able to obviously deliver their games to more people is good, but with Netflix's decisions the past couple of years, as long as Netflix keeps their fingers off their actual work and just sells it, that's okay, other than the fact that I'm not a big fan of the fact it's the only way I can get the game by having Netflix, because I don't really want to have to pay for a subscription service because a new game might come out.
Well, they haven't made any games for Netflix yet. They've just been acquired by them. You can still get Oxenfree and Oxenfree 2 on PC. But whatever they develop next possibly will be a Netflix exclusive. But that just about does it for this episode. If you have any thoughts on anything we've discussed, leave them in the comments below, and we'll see you next week.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.